Let's see. I think we're live now. All right, guys, what's up? It is the NHL Hit the Ice show presented by Osmo.com. As you can hear the ad playing in the background for me right there. We've got 14 games to talk about. Steve, how are you doing? You ready for the biggest NHL slate of the season so far?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, with no hockey tomorrow, I guess they tried to jam everything in tonight. So it should be interesting. Lots to go over, so we might as well get into it, I guess.
Yeah. Looks like we've got a pretty good crew already of people. Actually, let's talk about, did you play last night, and how did Monday go for you?
I only played a handful of the showdown on either site. Monday went all right. I actually had some lineups in the late only slates that did better than all the main slate stuff. No. So yeah, if only you got to stack those late games.
Yeah. And we were talking, I think we were talking last time we were on, that the late games always go under-owned on the main slate, which is weird. I love the late night hammer. I always try to, it seems like I go out of my way to play the late guys. Maybe it's because I have the luxury of staying up and watching these games because this is what I do. But yeah, it's always nice to get some low ownership and some late guys. See your little circles, green circles, go to the right on your DraftKings app.
Yeah, it's a psychological thing. You always would rather have more player minutes remaining, I guess.
Right. Yeah, you're
rather than
like
have
never
the top
dead,
score
right?
up front.
That's
Yeah.
what it feels like.
Yeah, you're never dead.
Well, 2 more full line goals in the last 5 minutes, and maybe I'll be able to creep into the cash here.
Yeah.
Looks like we got some chatter going on. Let's see. I'm gonna go quick. You need to talk about 4 of them. Talking about the games. What's up, Bobby Boom? I saw that you joined the premium Slack. Welcome. Gonna be able to finish covering all the games before lock. Hopefully, we're gonna try to. There's some games that I'm probably gonna have maybe a couple lineups on both sides. So I'm sure Steve is the same way. We haven't really talked about anything yet as far as the slate goes. So it'll be good to hear from each other. If you don't play Ducks tonight, you're just doing it wrong. Ho ho ho. Do I have something for you? All right. Looks like we've got enough, guys. Give us a like if you do enjoy this. It really helps us as we continue to do this for free, give you free content. Check out Nolan's lineup change articles. You're definitely going to want to look at that today. Quite a bit of news. The power plays by Vots this morning. And then my projections, Osmo's rankings, all that good stuff. Promo code HITTHEICE gets you a free week of everything that we have to offer for Osmo NHL Premium. Let's get into the games. You see our Osmo.com lineup builder right here. Montreal Canadiens going up against the New Jersey Devils. Carey Price in net for the Canadiens. The Devils have Keith Kincaid in net, $8,200 Keith Kincaid. New Jersey top line, pretty expensive. I'm sure they're going to be a somewhat popular target. What do you think of this game overall, Steve?
Yeah, it's a pretty good game for as far as expected goals at 5-on-5 go. Both teams are pretty strong in that metric. It is kind of tricky with the 2 top lines likely to go head-to-head. Those are the best options, really, for both teams. I think that, the top Jersey top line is a bit too expensive for me on this slate. There's a bunch of cheaper options. You can never really count out Taylor Hall, though.
Right.
He's good in any matchup. He's pretty much matchup proof. But if you think he's going to be spending a lot of time against the Gallagher line, then I don't think it's really a great point per dollar play.
Yeah, I agree. That brings me to my question. Do you think that he is going to spend a lot of time against the Gallagher line?
I think the majority of his ice time will be against them. They'll spread out in the play against every line, which is why I'm going to keep him in play for MME stuff. But it probably won't be my favorite spot in being my main lineups or anything like that.
Cool. Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. And I'm assuming you're MMEing tonight on FanDuel?
Yeah, I'm going to hit that $5 on
on DK too?
On DK, and then probably the $4.44 on FanDuel.
Me too. I'll see you at the top. Should be good. I mean, looked like they undersized that $5 on DK. Maybe not. Maybe they know what they're doing. But it seems like all those small dollar high entry tournaments have filled super easy this year.
Yeah, I made sure to get my mine reserved early today.
This morning I was like, do not put it off. Like, get as much as you can.
I learned my lesson on Monday.
Oh yeah,
missed everything.
Did you end up missing everything?
But majority of things, yeah. I got a couple smaller entry stuff, but
That's the worst.
yeah, I went all over the late slates and turbo slates, so made it count.
There you go. All right. Anything else we need to mention in this game? Are you going to that second Montreal line or maybe the second New Jersey line here?
Actually leaning more towards the second New Jersey line, just as far as the numbers of that matchup go. I mean, you gotta be careful about reading too much into these, but the Montreal second line's been terrible defensively and overachieving offensively. And I've seen some pretty strong possession numbers and high danger scoring chance numbers for the New Jersey second line over a very small sample. But if we think that there is going to be any kind of matchup, or at least I'll see more time against them, then I'd prefer the New Jersey second line. But yeah, for me, it's mainly Montreal 1, and then I guess New Jersey 1 in MME builds. But neither of them are going to crack my top 5 lineup, or top 5 line almost.
Completely agree. Leaving him in for sure. I think it'd be foolish to like X out two top lines like this. But this is not a game I'm prioritizing at all for anything really. Defensemen, full line stacks, goalies, any of that. Do you like any defensemen or goalies that you want to mention here?
I don't love any of the guys here, to be honest.
Neither do I.
I think Kincaid is fine in a vacuum, but he's pretty expensive at 8,200 there. Maybe more on FanDuel. I would like him there at 7,900.
I think Petrie is probably the one guy that I'll have a decent amount of exposure to as a one-off at 5K.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, so that's about it. I don't really love either of the goalies. Prices, whatever. I mean, I'm not crazy about the volume that I'm expecting him to see, so he's just kind of a so-so play for me. Ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, Islanders and the Rangers, 3.3 implied total for the Islanders, 3.2 for the Rangers. Robin Lehner in net for the Islanders, Georgiev in net for the Rangers. Man, two really healthy totals for these teams, and some pretty cheap skaters on both sides. So you like the value you see here, Steve?
Yeah, these two teams just had a 7-5 game a few days ago or last week, which was a little crazy. It's kind of funny looking at the expected goals for this game when neither team generates that many shot attempts. You know, they're pretty much at the bottom of the league in both categories, in both shot attempts for at 5-on-5. So it's you kind of wonder, both teams are sort of overachieving offensively. The only line I really like in this game is the Rangers second line, the Hayes line. They have really strong numbers, and the Zibanejad line is going to hard match against the Barzal line, and they're pretty dull overall. They kind of kill the action both ways, so I don't have a ton of interest in both those lines. It's mainly the Hayes, Kreider, and Hedl line.
Yeah, that was the one that I'm looking at too. So when you said second line, I got a little nervous there. I thought you were talking about Zibanejad, but. We're showing it as the first line. I don't know how DFO.
No, that's correct.
How they suggest or how they change those or whatever. Maybe it goes by minutes or something.
Personally, I just in my head I think of it based on the number one center based on the centers.
Agreed.
I just rank them based on center quality. But you're right. No, that is listed. That is officially New York 1. Cool. I would call that Rangers 1.
The Hayes line. Yeah, I'm going to be super heavy on them. And I mean, they're not going to be any crazy chalk or anything, but they're not going to be a line that it goes overlooked even on a huge slate like this. Just very good value. If you're into the advanced numbers, they're there. And they're going to see the Nelson, Kuhnhackl, Everley line, which has been really poor defensively in their short sample. Islanders absolutely own Rangers, 12-0-1 last 13. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything to me, but do you have anything to say on that?
Well, I mean, the Islanders in general are defying all the odds. They're due for major regression on their offensive numbers. It's crazy. They're among the top in the league as far as goals for, and towards the bottom in expected goals for. So, they're just due for regression. So I'm not going to keep tailing them there.
Yeah, I think I agree. It's just going to be mostly the Hayes line here. The Islanders keep getting it done for whatever reason. I think my highest exposed guy on the Islanders will be Pulock at 4,500. I do like that quite a bit as a value. Osmo does as well. And then Pionk would be the guy that I want on the Rangers. If I can't get up to him, maybe you go with like a D'Angelo or someone like that. But I'd really want to get Pionk if I can.
Yeah, so Pionk is great for the power play, which is in a really good spot tonight. And D'Angelo is playing most of the 5-on-5 minutes with Kreider, the Kreider-Hayes line. So
Yep.
those would be the two guys for me.
And then Georgiev, Leonard, both reasonably priced, I think, and probably both teams should see decent shot volume. So I like them both as correlation plays. More Georgiev than Leonard here, but
Yeah, I think that's how I'd handle it, correlation plays.
all right, let's move it on. We're cruising here. Stars and Penguins. We have Anton Khudobin going up against Casey DeSmith again for the Penguins. 2.7 implied total for the Stars, 3.3 for the Penguins. Sidney Crosby is back. Malkin did not skate yesterday at practice, but he did skate this morning, and so he's going to play. It's expected to be Crosby with Gensel and Hornquist, and then Malkin with Pearson and Kessel. So pretty stacked top six for the Penguins here. Would you expect Crosby to go up against Sagan, Ben, and Radulov? And then what does that do for you from a DFS perspective?
Yeah, I do. I mean, both lines have very strong offensive numbers, the underlying numbers together. They're both really strong, but they will give up high danger scoring chances or expected goals against. So, you can see some chances being traded there, but it's just two high-powered lines going head-to-head. So it's hard to say how that's going to shake out. I do have interest in both of those. The Malkin line is just awful defensively, and it's unfortunate that the Stars really have no depth beyond that top line to take advantage of it. So I don't know. I'll take shots on the Sagan. The Sagan line seems pretty appealing. I'll take some shots there. And I guess I'll take the Malkin, Kessel, Pearson line as well, but I don't particularly love that. The Stars depth lines are pretty dull. They don't really give up too much, but they don't create much either. So it's kind of a tricky spot because it does have a wide range of outcomes. Both teams have struggled to score goals at times. So you never, both goalies are kind of appealing in GPPs for me as well.
Yep.
I'll have just like a mix of this game, I think. I'm not going to prioritize it, but I'm going to have a pretty good mix of it.
Right. Home favorite at 7K. Always in play. They're going to come up in every optimizer, and they should. Yeah. I mean, because if he gets the win and sees even decent volume, that's going to be worth it for 7K.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you where it's kind of a tricky game here. The Sagan Ben Radulov line is one of my top projected raw points. But when you bake in their price at 21.8, it gets really dicey to try to fit lines in. I mean, I'd like to get Lindell in there. His price has gone up a little bit. Still, I mean, decent price, 4,400. Not too restrictive there. But it's hard for me to choose between these two Penguins lines as well. And they just generally, I think the public's just higher on the Penguins than I am. So I'm probably going to steer clear of the Penguins for the most part. Maybe some sprinkles here and there, but it's going to be mostly Dallas 1 here, if anything.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
And then Smith, just way too good of a value if he does indeed get that win.
Yeah, at 7K, and he's been the better of the two goalies, so I feel better about him in net than Murray.
Yeah. Are they just giving Murray some time off, or do you know if this is going to be...
They have a set schedule. I just caught a blurb saying they had a set schedule for their goaltenders over the next couple weeks. So I don't know what their decision-making is with that, but they probably want to give Murray the easier matchups to build up his confidence back or something like that. I don't know what it is. But.
Could be.
Yeah.
Do you want to mention any defensemen here, and then we can move on?
Yeah, Lindell. I think Bayreuther's interesting at 3K there. He saw some second power play time. Honka seems to be out. So at 3K, second power play time is not bad. It's not really the ideal spot given the top power play units stacked. So mainly Lindell. But yeah, his minutes were pretty good. And Letang, maybe Jack Johnson, someone along those lines. But mostly just Letang.
Sweet. Blackhawks and the Capitals, 2.8 implied total for the Hawks, 3.2 for the Caps. Corey Crawford going up against Braden Holtby. We have some line changes, or at least a big line change on the Capitals. Nick Backstrom moved in between Wilson and Ovechkin in their last game, and it looks like he's going to stick there. We're going to get Eller with Verana and Connolly as that second line. I believe Oshie and Kuznetsov are out. It wouldn't make sense to try to get him in this last game anyways before this little break, or at least just give him an extra couple days. So
Yep.
did you hear anything? Are they confirmed out?
They didn't practice, so they're out.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure nothing had changed since this morning. Yeah, I don't know. How do you see matchups going in this game? Is it going to be Backstrom against Taysad Kane?
Yeah, that's my guess there. Backstrom is usually the shutdown guy, and they will throw Ovechkin out there in the head-to-head matchups as well. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot. Chicago seems like they're in a good spot as far as 5-on-5 shot attempts and stuff like that. They should get a lot of volume off. The Caps are pretty bad in expected goals against. Actually, both teams are pretty bad in expected goals against. So this could be a good opportunity for both sides. If you're talking Washington, I really like the power play here. Is probably the best matchup.
Yeah, love it.
With one of I think their 5th ranked power play against the 25th ranked penalty kill. The Hawks do have a solid power play matchup as well, but their power play sucks, so you can't read too much into that. And it's kind of fractured there. You have Schmaltz between Kane and Taves. So the correlation's not great, but yeah, this is a game that should have some good fantasy potential, I would think, just given how bad both teams are defensively. So yeah, I do want to target it, but I don't really have any strong takes as to where I'm going to go. I think actually both top lines are solid plays. Chicago 2 looks somewhat interesting to me over a small sample size. Their numbers seem pretty decent. And Washington 2, well, they've had solid Corsi 4 and against numbers this season. Their high danger chances allowed are pretty terrible. So I'm slightly leaning Chicago 2, but it would be a small sprinkle. And it's kind of with the 14-game slate, I don't know if you have to do that.
Right.
But there's someone I'm going to try to have at least a couple lineups of in my 150 builds. So. Okay. I'd like to get a slight exposure to each second line.
Yeah.
But mainly the top 2 lines.
I think my heaviest exposure in this game is going to be the Backstrom, Ovechkin, Wilson line.
Yeah.
Wilson's not great, but just so much. Like, he's going to play the whole game with Backstrom and Ovechkin.
And power play.
Yeah, power play too. That's
important. Yeah.
So just so much assist equity for such a good power play there. And you're going up against a penalty kill that isn't great by any means. Carlson would be the logical guy you'd want to pair with him. And then if you are going to Chicago, do you have a preference with Keith, Seabrook, Gustafson? You can make a case for any of them here, really.
Yeah, Seabrook would be ideal just as far as his floor lately, but I think that Jokiharju at 3,600, he is on that top power play unit.
Oh, is he?
Yes. Well, at least he was last game, and I think they have him on. Let me just double check on DFO.
Okay.
But yeah, he was on the last game they played.
Yeah, I hammered him last game.
Yeah.
But I mean, just looking at it now, looks like he's not there on our lineup builder. Maybe that got updated. I'm not sure.
Probably has to do with daily face-off. Yeah, they have Keith there, so I don't know. I'd have to comb over Twitter here just to see, in case there's anything that they practiced today that's changed that. I'm just looking at last game what they did. So I don't know if anyone knows that info, if they've actually practiced that today. Just pop that in chat.
For sure. Yeah, we help you help us, right?
Yeah, just on a point per dollar kind of basis, I think he's pretty. If he is on that top power play unit, I think he's solid at 3,600.
Yeah, I mean, he would be the guy I'd want for sure if he is on the top power play. So we'll do some digging on that once we get done with the show. Crawford or Holtby, any of these guys you see having a lot of exposure to?
Holtby is interesting, just given he should see more volume in this game, and the Hawks in general, they've had games where they just can't score. Right. So definitely more interested in him. Although Crawford can stand on his head, but it goes against my motto of never playing goalies against the Capitals. So
yeah, I was gonna say, are you going off brand here? Or?
Yeah, no. All right. I'll stay strong with that. If he puts on a monster game, then so be it. I'll lose, but
Osmo agrees with you. So I kind of liked Crawford a little bit, but I'm sort of coming around on not playing as many goalies against the Capitals as I should.
He's the kind of guy, he's got enough talent that he can stand on his head when he gets peppered.
Right.
But I don't think Washington's the team you want to get peppered
against.
Just
such a good power play for Washington.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm probably with you. Maybe some sprinkles with Crawford if I've got $7,300 left over.
Yeah.
Leafs and the Hurricanes, 3 implied total for the Leafs on the road, 2.9 for the Hurricanes. We've got Frederik Andersen going up against Curtis McElhinney, another 7K goalie in a winnable matchup. It looks like we're going to see Stahl go up against Tavares, Marner, and Hyman, and then the Aho line will mix in against the second and third Toronto lines. So what does that do for you for DFS here, Steve?
Yeah, it's Kadri line and Aho line for me here because they should play against each other, and they're the weakest defensively on both teams. So that seems pretty clear, straightforward one. So these kind of games with the hard matching is really good for that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that the Stahl line is good enough defensively to take away from the Tavares line. The one issue is that the Canes' power penalty kill is their weakest link, and the Leafs have one of the best power plays. So that would be a scenario where I could see Tavares and Marner and Riley and them having success is just on the power play.
Yeah, but they're just so expensive too.
Yeah. So if you're relying just on the power play and you don't really have a great 5-on-5 matchup, you don't want it to be that expensive, I don't think.
Exactly.
So
yeah, we're on the same page there. And then decent value on the second Leafs line. Really love that Aho, Furlan, Teravainen line. Furlan's actually creating a ton of expected goals on the season, like amongst the league's lead. So per 60, that is. So
yeah.
He's a guy that a lot of people left off on their stacks last year in Calgary when he was playing with Joe and Monahan, but definitely don't want to do that here if you can avoid it.
No.
So you're kind of crossing off the Stahl line, and then you're soured a little bit on Tavares, Marner. Is that right?
I'm not going to cross off the Stahl line in MME because they're so cheap and they can, their numbers are really strong. They just don't score goals, though. That's the problem.
They can't.
So it's just a lack of talent. They're really smart and they work hard and all that, generate a lot of stuff, but they just can't finish. So, you're playing GPPs. You want multi-goal upside here from everybody.
Yeah. I follow some like Canes fans on Twitter randomly, and they're just constantly complaining about the Stahl line. They're like, "Oh, great number, great Corsi numbers," but they just had 3 chances and couldn't put it in the back of the net.
That's a key lesson. You can't read too much into these numbers. You just want to know generally how the flow of play is going to go, who's going to be generating the chances and stuff like that. Beyond that, it's a bet on talent.
Right. I mean, they could certainly get a couple bounces their way and have 2 full line goals. This Carolina third line, I guess we should probably mention them. It's a huge slate, but their numbers are incredible.
Yep.
So any interest in Martinook, Walmark, and Svechnikov? They fit pretty nicely with like a Colorado 1.
Yeah, I've always liked this line. I keep them in mind mainly on smaller slates. That's the kind of the deal, right? They're a good line. I don't know if you have to go there. They do make Svechnikov and Walmark make for interesting third wheels on power play stacks, something like that. Just because Svechnikov plays with the Aho, Furlan, Teravainen line. Maybe you could replace one of those guys with the Svechnikov for savings if you needed to do something like that. I don't know. I think both are possible. I just don't think you have to go there. The Leafs third line doesn't give up too much defensively, so I don't really think it's this particular 5-on-5 spot I want to target. That's the problem.
Defensemen, goalies here. Any guys that really jump out to you?
Riley, he's too expensive. Good spot for the power play, but too expensive. Hamilton seems like a strong spot just with defensemen against the Leafs. They're so bad. We talk about it every show. Slavin's in play as well. So Slavin and Hamilton will go up. They'll play with the Stahl line against Marner. I think you might take some interest in Falk, really, and DeHaan.
Yeah.
To play with Aho, to pair with Aho and Teravainen.
Probably going to give a little bit of a bump to Hamilton. Even at 5,900, I think he's the guy I really want. It's just like a mental thing with the power play 2 next to his name instead of power play 1 that holds me back a little bit. But great floor on Hamilton. I think I agree with Aaron in chat.
The Leafs don't take many penalties, and they don't give up. They don't give up many power play opportunities either. So it kind of hurts the power plays, I suppose, on both sides. But I don't know. It's a tricky spot. You never know what you're going to get. But I think in general, I wouldn't take that as much of a downgrade for Hamilton.
Yeah. All right, goal. We got McElhinney at 7K. He probably deserves a little bit of a mention. And then Osimo really likes Frederik Andersen, just A value, A points grade. So he's probably expecting a ton of shots, which is a pretty fair assumption with the Hurricanes. They just like that second, like we talked about with that second line, their whole team can just go cold, but like put up 40 shots. So you like Andersen there?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's awesome. I'll have a ton of him.
I like it. Because if he gets a win, he could get 10 plus DK points here.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely worth the price tag there. I think the goalies are priced pretty appropriately.
I agree. I like it a lot. Flyers and Sabres, we have a 3 implied total for the Flyers, a 3 implied total for the Sabres. Alex Lyon going up against Carter Hutton. This is one that I don't have as a heavy target. Is there anything that we're missing here outside of like leaving in the top lines? I don't really like targeting against this Eichel, Skinner, Pominville unit. Their numbers are pretty solid at even strength defensively. So assuming they're going to see a lot of time against Couturier, Giroux, Konechny, I wish I want to like this game more, but what do you see here, Steve?
Well, they will see time against the top line for sure, but the Sabres have also been using that Larson, the fourth line, as a shutdown line. But they had Berglund when they were doing that, so I don't know if they'll still do that with Rodriguez. That's the only question there. So, but that would free up Eichel to go against the depth lines, which would be appealing there.
For sure.
The Flyers are tricky here. I don't know how to handle the Flyers. For me, it's Sabres. I will have a lot of exposure to the Eichel-Skinner combo with Pominville. I think it's a really good power play matchup
for sure
for them. Their power play hasn't been great, but Philly's penalty kill is the worst in the league. So definitely want to take some shots there. And Lions in net too. So
yeah, if you're trying to like replace Pominville and you need to save a bunch of money, would you consider going with a Rodriguez who is on the top power play?
I would. 2,500 top power play, and if they do use that line as a shutdown line, they'll see more minutes. Yep. So I think that's totally reasonable to bring down the cost there.
Okay. Yeah, with Philadelphia, it's like they've got a lot of their talent spread out. There's just no stack. Like the top line is the best line, obviously, but you've got Van Riemsdyk and Simmons on the third line, and then Voracek on the second. So it just gets a little bit tough as far as full stacks, especially when I don't love the matchup for Couturier, Giroux, and Konechny.
It's kind of it's tricky, right? Yeah, it's hard to handle them there. I think that the Philly 3 is somewhat interesting there, just based on early numbers.
You'd think they'd be good, right? Too. It's not.
Yeah. Their offensive numbers are pretty good. Their defensive numbers are not great.
Okay.
And the second Philly line, terrible Corsi for and against numbers, but good high danger scoring chance numbers for and against. So it's tricky. It's really not an easy spot to this could be a dud of a game or it could be an explosive game. You never really know what you're gonna get with Philly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Buffalo top line is clearly my favorite play in this game, and beyond that, I'll probably mix and match some Philly lines.
Okay, that's probably what I'm gonna do as well.
Yeah.
Would you like to pair Rasmus Dahlin with Skinner, Eichel, and Pominville if you're going there for 4,200, or Ristolainen, who's probably going to see more minutes overall?
Yeah, I think Dahlin in this game because the power play is the ideal matchup for them. Okay. So I think that's the reason why I'd probably lean there. But I think that Risto is a great, he's the better floor play, better 5-on-5 play.
All right. And then on the Flyers side, is Gostisbehere too expensive for you? I think he is for me.
He's a bit pricey, yeah.
Has he done anything yet?
He occasionally has good games when the power play goes off. They're hard to predict, though.
Yeah,
In general, I just don't like. Yeah, so he's off and on. His shot volume's pretty good though over the last little bit. So that's appealing.
That's kind of what I was waiting for, is the shot volume. So maybe I'll take a second look into him. Goalies, Lyon or Carter Hutton. $1,000 price difference here for a game that's exactly even according to Vegas.
Yeah, I do like Hutton in general, but mainly when he's cheaper. 8K is a lot to pay for him.
I agree.
So yeah, I don't know. And then Lyon, I don't really know. We haven't seen a lot of him, so it's just kind of guesswork. Maybe include him in some Philly stuff, correlation plays.
Cool.
That's about it.
All right, next game. Good to go?
Yep.
Yeah, barn burner. Always good to talk about Detroit games. Boston and Detroit, 2.9 implied total for the Bruins, 2.6 for the Red Wings. Tuukka Rask going up against Jimmy Howard is the likely goalie. We don't have confirmation just yet. Boston side, no Patrice Bergeron for at least 4 weeks, probably quite a bit more than that. So they've split up their top unit. Marchand on the second unit, or the second line, with Nordstrom and DeBrusk, Krejci with Bjork and David Pastrnak. I don't really know what to expect out of any of these Boston lines. Do you like anything on Boston side? And then talk about Detroit as well.
Yeah, there's nothing that really stands out in this game for me. None of them will be any of my main plays. It'll just be an MME, kind of include some stuff, mix and match. You don't really know what you're going to get out of here. I expect it to be a dull game. I expect Boston to try to make the game pretty dull. And Detroit's dull as it is. They don't give up or generate too much. So, yeah, it's tricky for offense. You never know. Detroit's a bad team in general, and Boston is banged up. So it's tough. Boston has always owned Detroit, well, for the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a hard time not picking them to win this game. So I do have interest in Rask in this one. I think he's starting to pick it up a little bit. 7,900 is a bit much. He's a little bit more appealing on FanDuel. I think the goalies are probably the best play in this game.
Okay. Man, it just seems so easy to cross off that I just wanted to make sure I took a second look and got to hear from you what you thought. So I feel a little bit better about kind of leaving this one behind. I might end up with some Nordstrom, Marchand, DeBrusk, just because DeBrusk and Marchand will come up as okay values and top power play. But
I like that.
It's just go ahead.
I was just gonna say the power play correlation I think is probably the best in this one. Like a Krejci, some kind of Krejci, Pasta, Marchand, DeBrusk combo with Krug. I think the power plays their best chance at offense tonight.
I agree. We've got Torrey Krug back, as you mentioned, $5,500, A value, A points grade, according to Osimo. And then, anything on Detroit?
Maybe the Athens CU line, possibly. Okay. But it'll just be mix and match. There's nothing I like. Nothing I really like here.
Yeah. All right, we're ready to move on, get to a better game.
Sure.
Florida and Tampa Bay. We have likely Roberto Luongo going up against Louis Domingue. 3.5. No, wait, that can't be right. 3.5 implied total for the Panthers. That's not right. Let's see what it actually is.
Well, it's a 6.5 total.
How much of that is going? There's got to be more going to Tampa's side.
No, Tampa Bay is the favorite.
Yeah. Maybe it's backwards. Yeah, 3.6 for Tampa, 2.9 for the Panthers. So that's a typo there. Are we going to see some Tampa chalk, quote unquote, with an affordable top line once again, and then really good Corsi numbers for the second line?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great spot. This is probably one of my top this is definitely top 3 spot of the night for me, Tampa Bay. I think they should be bigger favorites than minus 150 or whatever they were at when I checked earlier.
Yeah, no Trocheck hurts.
Yeah, no Trocheck. And then they'll really only have the Barkov line then. McCann, Bukestad, Huberdeau, maybe not terrible, but those Tampa lines are much, much better than whatever Florida's thrown at them. I know Florida's always played them well recently. So that's the one pause I have. Division rivals, state rivals, whatever. They've played them strong. But that's usually with Trocheck there, obviously. So just looking at the Florida lines, there's really nothing special here on the defensive end. The Barkov line's been bad defensively. They're giving up almost twice as many high danger chances as they're creating at 5-on-5.
Yeah. What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sense.
Both Tampa lines are underpriced at, I think the top line's 18.8 and then the point line is 18.2. Yeah. So both of those are strong options here. And if you're doing what I'm doing, maxing contests and stuff, I think I'd even include Tampa 3.
Sorelli, Killorn, and Matthew Joseph. They have
Yeah.
good numbers. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, very, very good numbers.
Okay. Yeah, I would
Very
expect
strong possession line. And, with Trocheck out, you're shifting the centers up, making the depth weaker. So I think that really helps them.
Yeah.
Especially if this game gets out of hand, right? If this game does kind of get out of hand, then it opens up more ice time for them. And
right, if it's 5-1 going into the third, you're going to see.
They only need two goals to exceed any kind of value that you need from them in GPPs, and then you can fit some expensive lines with them. So that's why I would include them. Yeah, I mean they have very strong Corsi 4 numbers and high danger scoring chance numbers 4.
Yeah, I like it. So it's going to be all Tampa here. Ignore the totals that we have on the site. That's clearly a typo. Tampa, one of the highest, I think the second highest total of the night behind Minnesota, and very, very deserving with no Trocheck here. And is it gonna be a Luongo? Are we sure?
I haven't checked up on Twitter recently on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume it would be, unless they're
just from what Daily Faceoff says. I think it is. Yeah, it's Luongo according to the Panthers Twitter feed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's likely. So so
he's had some good games, maybe, and then Tampa's had a few games where they just can't score. So it's possible, but I'm gonna side with Tampa Bay side here.
Okay. All right. Anything else here? Edmund, man, 5,400. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was gonna say that really stands out, and Ekblad at 3,900 also really stands out.
Has he been starting to shoot a little bit more? I haven't looked.
Yeah, a lot more, and he's just been playing much more actively lately. With the handle at 6,400, Florida's projected for one of the most power play opportunities on the night, just given how many power play opportunities Tampa Bay gives up. Mm-hmm. So, the handle's in a good spot being on the power play, but the Tampa penalty kill is pretty good too. Yeah. So I think Ekblad's the guy I'd go to on the Florida side if I'm playing anybody.
How about any Alex Petrovic for $3K? He's priced up $500 from where he was. Block shots, anything like that. Are you okay with the punt there?
I mean, Ekblad's only 900 more. I would take him and his usage and offensive upside a little bit more. I think Petrovic's fine, but I don't think you have to. I think there's other cheap options tonight. There's a guy in the late game or one of the later games that I'll talk about.
Sweet.
That I'd rather go to. Anaheim.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Did we talk about goalies here? You talked about Luongo a little bit. Do you like
Luongo is interesting, and Domingue's only 7,600. So this is kind of the price and spot that I'll take some shots on him.
I like it. I agree. Yeah. Blues and the Nashville Predators, 2.4 implied total for the Blues, 3 for the Preds. We've got Jake Allen going up against probably Pekka Rinne. He is $8,500. That's the most expensive goalie on the night. Zach Sanford on the top line, not Robbie Fabry. Sanford, do you know much about him? He's 2,900 and playing with Tarasenko and O'Reilly. Is that enough to warrant playing him?
Yeah. I mean, that's enough for me. I don't know much about him. Obviously, he's never really moved the needle in the past. So, yeah, you can include them with the stacks. They're all their lines. You don't really have a lot of history with them. There's not a lot of data you can go to on the Blues here. I think the only play I'm interested really in this game, you know, O'Reilly, Tarasenko, sure, with maybe Dunn or Pietrangelo, something like that. Or you can include Sanford. Yeah, that's about it from the Blues side for me. But the Preds top line probably. But in general, this game's kind of a stay away. I think I don't really have any strong feelings on it.
I know the O'Reilly Tarasenko line has been pretty poor defensively. As good as they have been offensively, they've been that bad defensively as far as high danger chances. So if we expect Johansson, Forsberg, Smith to go up against them, do you expect that?
So what I saw from the last game against Tampa, they had Forsberg, the Forsberg line, and the third line playing against the top two lines pretty evenly.
Okay.
And then they put the Turris line against the third line of the other team. So, but they didn't generate too much. I mean, I don't know. it's only one game sample for that full line, so you can't really read too much into it. And they were playing against that good Tampa 3 line that doesn't give up much.
And the tourist line never gets there, so
yeah,
they should never get there.
That's true. They had one? They had one good one this year.
Yeah,
right?
they've already used their get there ticket.
Yeah. Okay, so you can ignore them, I guess.
Well, no Fiala up there too. Like he's on the fourth line.
Yeah, well, he hasn't played good this year at all, so that's probably why he's benched. The numbers on that Bonino line, the third line, are pretty strong. So
I remember playing them in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
they were awesome for a while.
Well, they had that Colorado matchup, and then Sissons only scores against Colorado, so
right, yeah, he gets a hat trick in his first regular season.
Yeah. So maybe that means we can play them tonight, but we'll save them for the next Colorado one.
Yeah, shorter slate. That's gonna be a line to look at for sure.
Yeah,
especially if Arvidsson is out for a while and we get top power play Nick Bonino.
Yeah. You mentioned something about the O'Reilly line not being great on the defensive end, but I also see the Forsberg Smith Johansson line. While their Corsi 4 percentage is strong, they generate a ton and don't give up too much. They're giving up more high danger chances against than they are generating. So I think that's a fair matchup for the O'Reilly Tarasenko combo, and they won't be owned. So maybe they do have some appeal for me.
All right. And then the defenseman here, big price discrepancy between Ellis and Yossi. So
Yossi's priced up probably where he should be. So yeah, looking at the value there, we see Osmo's rankings there. I tend to agree there with Ellis being 4,600 and A.
Yeah, that's pretty good value there.
Yeah, for sure. So I do like that. Ekholm's a guy I would keep an eye on too.
Sure. Right, and then are you firing up $8,500 Pekka Rinne?
That's a lot to ask, and he's top price goalie on FanDuel as well. I think he's fine if you have cheaper lines. I mean, if you stack them together, look at the Johansson and Smith are $5K and $4,900.
Yeah, too cheap.
So they're reasonable. So you could probably get up to Rinne if you played them with maybe an Ellis or someone else cheap, and then a reasonable second line. So I think he's fine in that kind of scenario.
Yeah, I would agree. And then Allen is 6,800. I mean, could we have a great Jake Allen game here? I'm
not going to count on it. No.
I'm not going to either. So just wanted to see if you were on him for any reason.
No, not. I wouldn't say on him. Maybe if you make some really sweet lineups and you need a cheap goalie,
is he the cheapest of the night?
Actually, Peterson is.
He's 67.
Yeah, 6,800.
Oh, cool.
They're tied. They're tied.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you could YOLO either of those guys or Markstrom.
Yeah. All right, let's go to possibly the chalk spot. The Ottawa Senators here in Minneapolis, or I guess in St. Paul, against the Minnesota Wild. 2.5 implied total for the Senators. 3.5. I saw at some other spots it might be like 3.7, 3.8. Yeah, I'm seeing at another spot it's 3.8. So Minnesota, huge favorites here, as they should be. They should be able to crush Ottawa at even strength. Top six is very, very good for Minnesota when they have their lines correct, like they do. So do you prefer one line strongly to the other on the Wild, I guess is how I should ask it.
Whoever's not playing against Stone, essentially, I would prefer strongly. If I knew, do you think they consider the Stone line the top? Stone, Kachuk, and now Tierney is over White. Do you think they consider that the top line, or do you think they consider Duchesne being the best center the top line?
I think they would want to shut down Stone and Kachuk.
I would.
I would too.
If you have any analytics whatsoever, I would.
I think they get it right for the most part. I think.
Yeah.
With the shutting down, so
then it's very clearly the Stahl line.
Yeah.
For me.
I mean, I love the Stahl line. They were my first read, so it could be the other way around. I'm gonna have exposure to both, but it's gonna be mostly Stahl line. Their numbers are ridiculous together.
Yeah.
Going back to last season, I mean, they just create so much. They look awesome when you watch them. The Koivu Parise Niederreiter line was very, very good last game in Chicago. I think they out attempted their opponents like 17-4 even strength. So I also like them, but Koivu's 6,400, so it kind of takes away a little bit of the luster on them.
Yeah.
But Niederreiter's 4,200, so if you take them as a whole line, as a whole line, I think they're okay value. But I want to get up to Stahl, Zucker, Granlund if I can.
Yeah, so we always talk about ownership on these slates and how large slates it doesn't really matter. So I think it doesn't matter in something like that $5 contest, the huge field contest. I mean, on one hand, it's a big field contest, but on the other hand, the payout structure is so flat. So I don't really care about chopping it up with other people using that combo. The field, they'll probably have them at under 15%, either of those lines, maybe 10% with 14 games going. So I'm not too worried about that. And just given the payout structure, if it was a top heavy tournament, I could see fading them in that. But I'm not too concerned there. And then maybe something in high stakes, they'll obviously be heavily owned because people will say this is the very, very clear spot on the slate. That's the obvious spot. It should be the chalk spot. They'll probably be, maybe one of these lines is heads up around 25%. I could see that. People just wanting to take the safer option. So that's maybe a contest you could consider fading or going somewhere else.
For sure. And it's always nice when we got this spot and there's two lines to choose from. Like we see with Tampa Bay sometimes, that second line gets up there above double digits. But and then Florida as well with Trocheck in there against Ottawa actually the other night. They carried quite a bit of ownership, as did the Barkov line. So I don't think you're really going to have to worry about it. I mean, I could see the Koivu line being higher owned than Stahl, Zucker, Granlund here just because they're a little bit cheaper. And
easier to fit.
Yeah. So I love them both. I do prefer Stahl, Zucker, Granlund if I can get up to them. You got anything on Ottawa's side as far as full stacks?
The problem is Minnesota, those top two lines don't give up much in the way of high danger chances at 5-on-5. They don't give up a lot of shot attempts, period. So it's not an ideal spot for a team like the Senators. Mm-hmm. But that third line is the weakest for Minnesota by far. That's a really weak spot. So maybe you could take some shots on White and Ryan. I think they're on the top power play unit together. I'd have to double check that. But that's mildly appealing for a couple cheap plays. If you're MME, I wouldn't do it in a main lineup or anything like that. But actually, I don't even know what their power play combos are. Actually, here we go. Yeah, White and Ryan together. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
White, Ryan with Kachuk, Stone. So.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe something like that. If the matchup wasn't so tough, it would be the Stone line there. The numbers look very solid over whatever sample they have so far. Mm-hmm. But just given that they're probably playing against Koivu in Minnesota, I don't love the matchup.
And then I thought I saw something about Spurgeon being moved up with Suter.
Suter. Yeah.
Is that correct? Because we're showing right now that it's Dumba still.
Yeah. Well, because that's probably what they have on DFO, but they made that change today. They were talking about it on Twitter.
Cool.
I did catch that. Okay. So that's going to be, I think it should help them defensively, just because Dumba and Suter have been getting scored on recently.
And it does help with Spurgeon. $4,500. He's going to see an uptick in minutes. Suter plays like literally 28, 30 minutes some games. Maybe not as much this year, but in years past. So they just ride him in important spots for sure. And it seems like whoever his pairing is, that guy shoots a lot more because Suter doesn't really shoot that much at the point. So
that's a good point. Plus, he's got full correlation with that Koivu line, power play and even strength. So that's kind of appealing there.
Yeah, I like it. Dubnyk, I think at a pretty fair price at 8,100. The Wild haven't been that great at shot suppression at home this season, so I actually don't mind going to Dubnyk for 8,100. And then I'm not going to Anderson. I don't like that at all, even for 7,100.
Yeah, I'm not particularly big on either. I think 8,100's, you're right, it's fair for Dubnyk. I think that's fine. He should be pretty safe. Good cash play.
Okay. Next game. How many more do we have left? 3? 2?
4.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
We'll move it along here. Golden Knights and Arizona Coyotes. 2.9 implied total for the Knights. 2.6 for the Coyotes. Marc-Andre Fleury going in net for the Golden Knights. Darcy Kemper for the Coyotes is confirmed. Fleury is not yet confirmed, but would expect him to be back in after they gave Malcolm Subban a chance. And he gave up 7 goals. A lot of them weren't his fault, but
no, they just bet him to the Wolves there on the back-to-back.
They just terrible spot for Subban.
Yeah,
and he got crushed. Do you think we see any sort of popularity on this Arizona 1 line? Stepan
No, I don't think this game will be owned at all.
Okay. Do you like anything in it?
I like Vegas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Top line?
Vegas top line is so cheap, man. Marchessault's 6K. He's a cash play for sure.
Yeah. I mean, anytime he's around that price.
Yeah.
As long as nothing funky's going on with the power plays, then yeah, 6K for Marchessault shoots at one of the highest rates in the entire NHL. So I like that a lot. And are Arizona's expected goals really bad still?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. That's what I thought. I know they're
they're pretty bad. They're bad. Yeah, they're not great. So yeah, they have a good, Vegas has a really good 5-on-5 matchup here.
Okay.
So I'm willing to take some chances on an underpriced line when they're going to be overlooked too. The problem is, so I guess if you look at the Vegas numbers, they're really strong at shot generation, the Corsi numbers, but they don't generate a lot of high quality chances so far this year. Not a lot of high danger chances for that top line.
They were kind of like that last year too, and
yeah,
I don't know what it is about them, but like when you watch them, you're like, man, this line looks pretty sick. So that's one where I don't know. It's kind of like Colorado 1, how they're doing this year, where they're not like it doesn't look like they're creating that many chances, but when you watch them, they look unstoppable at times.
Yeah.
So
I really do like them.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep.
And I guess whoever's playing against the Pacioretty line is reasonable for Arizona, but
there hasn't been much hard matching going on in Arizona.
No, I couldn't find anything.
They did a lot of Stepan hard matching last year, but not much this year. Arizona 1 nut. I don't. Corsi, I don't think either of us are with you. So you're gonna be at the top by yourself.
One, does he mean
he likes to step on? No, he likes Stepan.
Or step. Okay, what the hell is there?
Yeah. We talked earlier, and he enjoys that top line. They're just so cheap. It's understandable.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's fair. I would consider them just because that if they play against Vegas too, that's the one kind of weak spot there. But man, look at Vegas. Oh yeah, and looking at the screen there, Osmo agrees on Vegas 1. He really likes the value.
For sure. Yeah. I can't remember what Vegas was coming up in my first few crunches, but I know I had a little bit of them. Maybe I need to try to force in a little bit more because I think I agree. Like you see a 5.5 total and two teams that people are kind of lower on, especially Vegas this year. It makes some sense.
Like look at the pricing of the players. Mm-hmm. Cheap, really cheap in general, and then look at the pricing of the goalies. Like there's a disconnect there,
right.
Big time disconnect.
Right. So there's value somewhere in this game.
Yeah. So I'll have a decent amount of exposure to the goalies. I think they're really, really strong values in net. Both goalies are good, just given how each team has had trouble scoring goals. But I'm really interested in Vegas 1, and I suppose you can take some shots on Arizona. I don't hate it, but they've mixed and matched their lines lately. They've changed their line combos, so not huge on them though.
Vegas isn't good though. We had this discussion. I think I was on a solo.
Well, I'm not too worried about the power play matchup there, Corsi. It's never been a strength of theirs. It's the 5-on-5 matchup that I like.
All right, defenseman here. Do you prefer Miller or Theodore? I think probably Miller if he's on that top unit.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, like I just said, so power play unit doesn't really matter. They've had a bit more success with it recently. But yeah, so Arizona really good penalty kill. So I don't think it really matters. I think you could play either him or Theodore equally.
And anyone you want to mention on Arizona's side? They're getting back Chikrin and Goligoski for this game.
Yeah, all okay plays. Nothing great. They're pretty good prices.
All right, let's move it on.
Yeah.
Vancouver and Anaheim. 2.5 implied total for the Canucks, 3 for the Ducks. Jacob Markstrom going up against likely John Gibson, who is super expensive. This is another one where I don't think we're going to see a ton of ownership. I think Anaheim 1 will see some, but I'm just hammering Anaheim 1 here. And then I do like the Pettersson line as well for Vancouver. What do you see here? I see you're nodding your head. So
yeah, is that Pettersson line confirmed there? I couldn't find any line combos. And last game, they didn't have Eriksson there. They had Virtanen, which I didn't care for.
Let me find it, but I believe I did see that on Twitter. And
yeah. Yeah, there we go. I'm just checking now. Yeah, okay, so they're up to date. That's good. Yeah, Pettersson line, very strong. The thing is, Yeah, the on the Ducks, the top line very good. The top line's very strong. I like them. I'll play them a lot. But beyond that, the other two lines are terrible defensively, and we know that Silverberg's going to see the top line. Would you say he's probably against Horvat, or sorry, the Kessler line against Horvat, or do you think against Pettersson?
I think it's against Pettersson, and the Kessler line has been terrible defensively.
Yeah, exactly, and even the third line there too. Yeah. So,
they've been even worse. I mean, small sample, but they've been terrible defensively. So.
Yeah. So honestly, in an ideal spot, I like a Horvat, Gagne, Hutton mini stack, and then a Pettersson, Goldobin, Hutton mini stack as well, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But on a full slate, if you're with the 14 games, you probably want full even strength line stacks. So I'm fine with Maud and Eriksson there. But as a full line, the Pettersson line's where to go. And I just like to.
Did you say Maud?
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, Mott looks like he's playing with Gagne and Horvat. Not super appealing, but Gagne and Horvat both on the top power play.
Oh, we've got Lipsick up with Horvat and Gagne. Huh.
Yeah, based on last game, it was Gagne, Horvat, Pettersson, Goldobin, and Hutton.
Okay. Interesting.
Unless there's news today that they changed it, but I didn't see anything for the show. So in general, yeah, I like those little mini stacks. Ideally, and then if you want a full stack, it would be the second line for Vancouver. But yeah, Anaheim 1 seems to have very strong numbers dating back to last season over a larger sample size. So I really like Anaheim 1 here.
Yeah, Kasha up there I think just adds a little extra boost. I mean,
he's min priced on FanDuel, $3K. So
Kasha is?
Yeah, cash lock for sure.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, lock that in.
And with Lindholm and Fowler out for the Ducks, they're starting this rookie here. What's his name? Mohura. Yeah. So he's playing with Montour. So they're seeing those minutes. He saw 20 minutes last game, tons of shots and blocks. So he's 2,800. He's where I would go if you're going below 3K tonight.
All right.
And second power play unit.
Montour, would he be a cash guy for you too? Just seeing.
Yeah, he's underpriced and his usage is through the roof.
Love it. Yeah. Yep. All right. Can't wait to fire up some Vancouver and Anaheim here.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild one.
Yeah. Incoming 2-1. Both guys in Anaheim, first pair, got OT minutes last game. Oh, did they? I mean, that makes sense, right? But I don't know. Wait, never mind. Furman is in LA, Colorado. Yeah. We're getting there. Let's do Winnipeg and Calgary first. 2.9 implied total for the Jets, 3.1 for the Flames. Connor Hellebuck going up against David Rittich, who is pretty affordable on DK. We're going to see the Backlund line go up against Scheifele, Wheeler, and Ehlers, and then Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm will go up against the Little and the Lowry lines. But I like that Little versus Monahan matchup at even strength for both sides. What do you see here, Steve?
Fully agreed. I like both sides of this, like the top six on both teams. But if you just look at price, I think that Calgary one's totally underpriced considering their better matchup there. Yep. And honestly, if you look at all four of these lines, they're pretty bad in high danger chances allowed.
Yep.
Well, they do. So I think there could be goals in this one. And I'll just take the cheaper Calgary top line.
Why is Winnipeg all of a sudden they're not posting these great numbers at even strength? I mean, I know they were a little bit worse on the road last year, but even at home, they're just allowing a ton of chances.
Possibly because they do have playoff aspirations. They went deep last year. They're just not kind of ramping it up yet in full effort mode. That could be a thing early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, that makes some sense. They're going to get into the playoffs no matter what. And probably go deep again.
I think when you go deep in the playoffs, you realize what the bigger picture is. So why waste your energy in the first couple months?
Game stack here? If you're game stacking it?
I don't think it's pretty hard to do price-wise unless you take Calgary too.
Yeah.
Which look good. But, I mean, neither of these lines are good on the defensive end. Calgary should see a decent amount of power play opportunities. And the Jets have a really good power play matchup, top power play against the 24th ranked penalty kill. So I like all the offense in this game, to be honest, but it would be Calgary 1 and Winnipeg 2 would be ideal.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. There's a question about, is it worth it to go in with 20 lineups, or do you need to go all out with 150?
No, you don't have to go 100. You
could
just,
get. Go ahead.
Yeah, you don't have to go all out or anything like that. Just I don't know. I'd say try not to spread it as thin if you're playing 20 lineups.
Right. Yeah. Pick a few of your lineups that you want to
Yeah.
build around, and just mix and match, or lines, I should say, and just mix and match those together in your 20 lineups. Giordano, absolutely love for 6,300, especially if you are going with the top line. He does play more at even strength with the second line, which hurts him a little bit, I think. But he's still coming up a ton for me. So
I've always loved Kachuk and Geo mini stacks there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They play the whole game together.
Yeah.
At home, that is. And then are you going with Bufflin or like Morrissey or Trouba? Any of these guys interest you?
Bufflin, yeah, for the power play. It's good power play spot, but I think Trouba's fine. Yeah, Trouba's a little bit more active than Morrissey. Yep. But I don't hate pairing either with the little line A Connor line.
I like it. All right. I think this is our goalies here. Rittich, 73.
I think both are okay at the prices.
Okay. I agree. I don't have any hot takes on either side.
Yep.
All right. Last game of the night. A little bit to talk about here. We've got the Avs and the LA Kings. 2.8 implied total for the Avs. 2.7 for the Kings. Varlamov against Peterson. Peterson is 6,800. The name is not being recognized on the site. We'll get that fixed at some point. Just take my word for it. So Colorado won. Most expensive line of the night. Doesn't really seem like the greatest of matchups. They're going to see Kopitar, Ifollow, and Brown a little bit. But looking at what LA's done lately, they haven't really been hard matching. And our boy is reffing this game. Our boy Furman. Yeah. So what does that do for you? What are you seeing in this one?
Well, it makes it more appealing than it was before. The 5-on-5 matchups were pretty dull. Neither team generates or gives up much in the way of expected goals. So that really kills the 5-on-5 play here. It should be a bit of a slog. But if you're going to be seeing 10 power play opportunities, the Avs have such a good power play. Kings penalty kill's not great. The Avs are taking a ton of penalties, so it puts the Kings on the power play more. So I think you can look at each team just for power play reasons.
Can you justify the insane price tag for Colorado 1 on the road here?
It's not ideal, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Furman South does help a little bit, but, I'm not making my teams just based off of a ref.
Yeah. There's a few other good ref spots tonight, too. I think Dallas-Pittsburgh had one.
Maybe he's got a little talking to by the NHL. You got to swallow the whistle a little bit here.
Jets Flames has a guy, too. They're
really?
cheaper. The Ducks and Canucks have guys that'll call penalties. Yeah, I think there's a few spots tonight, so you don't have to chase this guy.
Okay. And then I recommend Carter, Kovalchuk, Toffoli, just guys that create a lot of chances by themselves. The numbers together aren't great, but I will have quite a few sprinkles of them if I'm going to LA's side.
Yeah, I dig it. Yep.
Peterson, interesting here, or $4,400 Drew Doughty, and then Tyson Barrie on the other side.
Yeah, Peterson's kind of the yellow punt I'll take here. If you just need a guy that cheap, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, guys. We only have 2 minutes left, so we can't really build lineups. There's a big NBA show, actually 2 big NBA shows coming up after this. We've got the, the Deeper Dive with Laffy and Adam. After this, same as the MLB show. If you're playing NBA DFS, you're going to want to check that out. And then Live Before Lock, I believe it's with Chris Spags and Fast Eddie Fear. Tomorrow, we have an NFL show at 11 a.m. with Emac and Nolan Kelly, who joined me last Friday on this show. So definitely want to check that out. If you're playing Thanksgiving NFL DFS, I'm sure you're playing some, Steve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
love it
too. Yeah, we'll take that under consideration, Bobby. Anything else we should mention, Steve? You got anything that you want to tell the people?
Not too much. Just have a very happy Thanksgiving to all my American friends. I hope you guys enjoy the day, because I know I'll enjoy the football and booze myself.
Yeah. All right, guys. Give us a like if you did enjoy this. We will be back soon.
Cheers, guys.